What's up, everyone? We're going deeper into talking about at-home workouts, something that is really important to a lot of people right now with the lockdown that we're facing around the world. And today we're going to be going into how we use calisthenics to really get some serious results. Hey everyone, in case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. I'm one of the co-founders of Unity Gym and co-creators of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we turn driven people into strong and flexible athletes. If you want to know how we do it, grab one of the free blueprints. We've got the Strength Blueprint, the Flexibility Blueprint, and the Nutrition Blueprint. There's a link in the description of this video or podcast, wherever you're consuming this content. And yeah, look, we've got a big show today, a lot of really good stuff to talk about. But before we get started, I just want to send some love and some empathy over to Beirut and to anyone who's been over there, any families who have lost any family members. I've just been made aware of what's happened, and man, that is tragic. So yeah, we just want to send out some love from us and some positivity. What a horrible thing to have to experience, and what a tragedy. So, today we're talking at-home workouts. First thing I want to say, as always, anyone that's watching live, give us a little yell. Hi, Lee. How you doing? Lee Clements. And Yanni, who's not in the studio this morning. He's in self-iso waiting for a COVID-19 test result because he's not looking... he's been a bit sick this week, so he's done his duty and gone and got himself tested for COVID-19, so we're just waiting for that. And Yanni's also saying, remember to let the boys know who's on the live comments section. So yeah, please say hi. Let us know who's watching. So today, I'm joined by Phil, as always. How are you, Phil?
Good.
Good?
Yep.
How was moving yesterday? How was moving?
Horrible. Yep, had to drive, putting it in a storage container about an hour and a half away. So there and back, and then going again today. So
really? Really again?
Yeah, that's brutal. All right. Happy to help.
Brutal. Hey, Dave Clark has chimed in and said hello. How are you, brother? Well, good to have you back with us, Phil. You only came in the nick of time. I was sitting here thinking,
I have beach volleyball training in the morning. So the traffic at the moment, no one wants to catch the bus at the moment. So, I thought I was like, I have plenty of time. It's like, oh, no. No.
It's I was sitting here. I was about to say to Richie, you're going to have to change the angle of the camera. It's just me this morning. So Diane Norbury's just tuned in saying, looking forward to today's content. Just started on the at-home workouts today. Love the Wednesday routine. That is awesome, Diane. So glad to hear you say that. And I'm going to be talking. We're going to be talking a lot about that this week. So look, if you if you missed out on yesterday's show, we're basically going to be shifting a little bit of attention this week to talking about at-home workouts again. There are still a lot of people that are in lockdown. One of the states in Australia, Victoria, has gone into the highest level of lockdown that we've ever been in Australia, stage 4 lockdowns. It's pretty full on. So yeah, we want to talk about what you should be doing if you're at home and if you're one of those people. Now, the big mistake that we're seeing with a lot of at-home workouts is that most people are trying to entertain when they create an at-home workout. And what I mean by that is, there's this notion that we have to do something different all the time. Like, especially when you're a content creator, if you're a trainer and you're on YouTube or Instagram, a lot of people are really, trying to wow their audience by showing them something that they've never seen before. And I get it. It's fair enough. It gets eyes, it gets people looking at it. But it is far from being the best way to train. And what we firmly believe at Unity Gym and with the UMS and our at-home workouts especially is that you still need to get results. And you still need to make sure that you're selecting the right exercises, that you're getting enough volume on those exercises, that you're doing things at the right intensity, that you're getting enough recovery on muscle groups from day to day, meaning you're not just, you're not doing upper body 2 days in a row, or you're not doing all over body workouts every single day. There's a lot of things to think about, and you don't need to throw that stuff out the window just because you're working at home. You don't need to just start doing these, exciting, crazy, different workouts every day just for the sake of it. So there, Yanni's chimed in and said they were already doing it seriously hard already. Oh, Yanni's talking about over in Lebanon. Greg Gillespie, morning, brother. Good to see you on the show. So let's move into today's topic, so we don't fluff around too much talking about the concept of what this week is. So today, what we want to talk about is that despite the absence of all the gym stuff that you've come used to, the programming principles still apply, and you can still get amazing results with a good program. And Yanni's told me to do this. I wouldn't have done this myself. Hey, Andy Lawson, good to see you on the show. But Yanni wants me to talk about the results that I got in the 12 weeks that we did the at-home workouts, because it was challenging for me. We went from Friday, we were open, and then we got told on Monday we had to close at midday. So it was very, very quick that we had to make a change. And we decided that we were going to do these live streamed at-home workouts straight away. And I immediately knew that meant I'd be doing a live streamed at-home workout every day, because Richard is the genius that sits behind the camera and makes this show happen. And Yanni's just lazy. He doesn't like doing that stuff. No, I'm just joking. Yanni is more focusing on the engagement and chatting to people and writing the content and the emails and everything. So he does his job better in that position, and I do my job better in front of the camera. So there I was, all of a sudden, had to do these live streamed at-home workouts every day, and I thought, oh God, this is great. I don't get to do my normal training sessions. Tried to do some of my normal training sessions for the first week after the live stream workout, killed myself, didn't do it after that. But I embraced it. I took it on the chin, and I decided, our tribe need this. People around the world need this. So I'm going to embrace it. I'm not going to begrudge it, and I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to do it. And the results that I got were phenomenal. You can see from phase 1 to phase 4, if you look at the transformation in my body, there is a significant change in my body composition. I lose a lot of body fat and I build lean muscle. I got a hell of a lot fitter. And if you have a look, Richie's got this picture of me that we took shortly after I think it was after the 12 weeks of doing the at-home workouts. And this is all I was doing. I was doing these at-home workouts. Here and there I did a little bit of extra work in the gym, but not that much really. And man, did my body change. It was huge, the physical transformation. Yanni's saying my job is to make Rad look good. It's extremely stressful.
Good from you, Yanni.
Yeah. We've got a delay here on the on what I actually see. Is that picture up, Richard?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay, cool. Oh, there we go. Yep. So that's probably the best shape I've ever been in my life. I've never had that much muscle on my body and been that lean. I actually put on I think about 5 kilos. I was 85 kilograms when I started. So that's about 12 pounds. 11 pounds in 12 weeks. So I was very lean. I'm still pretty much in this shape. I haven't been doing as much cardio since we've stopped doing the at-home workouts, but I haven't lost any weight and I haven't really put on any fat. So it was really amazing what the transformation I went through. Pretty crazy stuff, considering that it was like a workout that wasn't what I would have normally chosen to do. So yeah, it's something that that if you guys embrace it, if you do things the right way, you can see some amazing changes in your body. And what we're going to talk about today is this concept of using lockdown to level up and embracing change.
Yeah, and the thing about that, that whole time is that it was planned, and each couple of weeks it developed. So it was all progressive. It was following the progressive overload principles. So there's like enough stimulus there to actually get an adaptation, because you were getting these this proper overload. So that's a real key thing here. And when like with the upper body especially, like you can get so much strength improvement from body weight stuff. So it's huge.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's, it was definitely easier to train my upper body using traditional methods of training, being able to work in that sort of 5 to 8 rep range and still achieve enough volume and enough fatigue to get some real muscle growth. With the legs, we had to get creative. I had to do some really tricky things because my legs are the strongest part of my body. I've done a double body weight back squat at my best, which was at the time was 170 kilograms. I was 85 kilograms at that time. And I can very easily get under the bar and do 130 kilograms for 5 to 8 reps with very little prep work for it. So for me to be able to train my legs at a high enough intensity to see some change, we had to get creative, and we were using things like 21s and pause reps and supersets where we were doing jumping squats, supersetted, and also just massive amounts of volume on the legs, several different leg exercises in the same workout. And it worked. I didn't lift. I did not touch a barbell for squatting or deadlifting for those 12 weeks. And I came out of that and walked straight into my first squat session doing sets of 8 reps at 110 kilos, thinking to myself, I'm just going to do 80 or 90. And it was so easy for me. I got straight up to 110. So it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And look, what I want to talk about is, you're in lockdown. It's a situation that's been forced on you. You haven't had a choice, right? None of us chose this. It's the state of the world. We're having to do our bit to flatten the curve for coronavirus. It's really getting out of control in some countries like America. In Australia, at least in New South Wales, from what I saw on the news last night, we're really getting it under control in New South Wales. Did you see that? The measures that they're taking of really flattening it out. There's no new hotspots in Sydney. They're saying that if we keep going the way that we are, New South Wales is going to really be in the clear again in about another 2 or 3 weeks. But there's other places where that ain't happening, and so we really need to learn how to train at home with no equipment, not in a way where it's just like, I kind of feel like I'm just going to do something. No. In a way where if you did this and only this for the next 6 months, you would still see significant improvement.
Yeah, which is like amazingly powerful outside of even having enforced lockdown. Like if you can get this power of understanding how to do effective at-home workouts, and that means, suddenly now if you're traveling for work, then your workout schedule and your progress won't be hampered if you just don't like the gyms in your area because it's just not the right sort of viable community for you. Then you have this access to an online community and you can do a really effective workout at home. So I think try and take the long-term positive with it, where it's like really empowering you about understanding these overload principles. So
Yep. Listen, I want to just reiterate something here as well, about my transformation and what I went through. I had to go through a real mindset shift because the truth is, for those of you watching the at-home workouts, you see me on the screen and I'm looking at you and you get to watch me and join in with me and Yanni motivating you. But for me, I was looking at a camera in an empty room. And I'm trying to bring...
Rich is there,
No, Richie was out here.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah.
No.
I mean, Yanni was sitting next to me, but he was off to the side. But where I'm looking... And Yanni's sitting on his ass drinking a cup of coffee, I'm sitting there training at that level of intensity that I was training at. And it was really tough. Because, there was a week there or so where we didn't even have Yanni. And that was the hardest by a country mile because I didn't even have anyone saying to me... this is what the people are saying on the show and everything, and
it was extra grim in here as well because the windows blacked out.
The windows blacked out, so we didn't even have any natural light coming in here. It was a really hard experience to go through, but there was a mindset that I knew that I had. People that were relying on me, so that made me push myself and bring it every day. And you guys need to go through a similar kind of shift in your mind. You need to think to yourself. You need to find a way to empower yourself to just, shut up and do some bloody burpees, as the T-shirt says. But you've got those videos of me motivating you and working through it. It is a powerful experience. Don't underestimate how great results you can get if you do those workouts. They were so powerful for me, and they can be so powerful for you. And one of the big reasons is because of the way that we leverage calisthenics, because calisthenics training is all about body weight training anyway. So when you're at home, the only real challenge was to find a creative way to do pulling movement patterns. So anything that involves pulling, because that, traditionally you need a set of rings or a bar or a barbell or dumbbells. You need some kind of apparatus to do pulling. But we got around that by hooking up a towel into a door frame, and I could still get muscle fatigue on my, big prime movers, on my lats and my trapezius and biceps and, posterior delts. I could still get a feeling of, whoa, I've had some work here. And if you look at my, let's bring up that photo again, Richard, of me.
There we go.
If you look at that photo, you can see.
Replace Rad permanently on there with that photo.
But you can see the development in my in my lats. I've never had big lats before. I made a look. In all fairness, I should say there's something else that I did. I made a decision that because of the work that I was doing, that I was also going to really work to try and build muscle.
Yeah, there we go.
And what I also did was I stopped fasting and I started eating 5 to 6 serves of protein a day. Instead, Richie's covered me up there. I've got a little delay here. So yeah, it was, in all honesty, it was something that we didn't expect. None of us, especially Yanni, I don't know about Richie, he's always pretty quiet. He never pays me any compliments. But Yanni was really surprised at the transformation that I went through, and so was I. I was looking at myself in the mirror, because I was training with my shirt off every day, going, Jesus Christ, I'm getting buff here.
Yeah, should have done more progress pics. Get the community involved and get.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah,
but even people at home, like
I didn't think that I was going to get. I didn't think that there was going to be any notable progress.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to happen like that. I really did, and neither did.
Yeah, I remember you saying at the beginning, like, oh well, it looks like I'm getting cardio fit, but that's going to be about it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And man, did I get fit! Jesus, was I fit at the end of that, and I still am. I am still doing cardio training now. So Lee Clements is saying, loved the at-home workouts. We were all working by ourselves too. You did so well, Rad. Thank you so much, Lee. Greg saying the at-home workouts are amazing. I did 11 weeks, 5 days a week straight. Dropped body fat, and core was super strong. Yeah, how good was all the core training? And Mike Skolnick is saying, morning guys, the at-home workouts were super effective and the gains definitely transferred over to the gym. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really amazing experience because we were all doing it together, and yeah, it was cool. We had people around the world. But yeah, look, I want to talk a little bit more before we finish the show. I want to talk a little bit more about calisthenics and how it works. The way that you use calisthenics, which is very different to weight training, because whenever you do resistance training, you use something called overload, the overload principle. And in the most basic way of describing overload is that if you pick up a set of dumbbells and you can do bicep curls for 8 reps and you do 3 sets of that for 8 reps and you did that twice a week until after several weeks, it would be different for everyone, you could now do 12 reps with the same weight. And then you go up to the next weight in the dumbbells and you now can only do 8 reps again, and then you repeat that process again. That's what's called overload. So with weightlifting, it is quite easy because what I just described that's a really basic way to describe overload, but I think it's a good way to picture it. So you do a certain amount of reps with the weight, and when you can do more reps, you up the weight a little bit, the reps drop back a bit, and you just keep going. But with calisthenics, it doesn't work like that. It's actually really, really hard if you don't understand how to use leverage to achieve overload effectively. Because, when you do a program, whoever wrote the program for you tells you, okay, in this phase, you're going to be doing sets of 8 reps, or in this phase, you're going to be doing sets of 12 reps. And then you just choose the weight that allows you to do that amount of reps. So with calisthenics, you've got to get a lot more creative and you've got to use leverage. And leverage is something that I'm not even going to try and describe leverage. Right? Do you want to have a go at it?
I mean, I think it becomes less important to get into the nitty gritty physics of it, but basically small changes will make massive difference in positioning.
Small changes in levers, right?
Yeah.
So where your center, where the point of contact to the ground is. So let's say you're doing a push up. The distance, but if you're doing a push-up on your knees, it's because of the distance between your hands and your knees and the fact that less of your body weight is being supported by both of those points. That's what makes it easier than if you do push-ups on your feet. Yeah, and if you bring your hands further away from your feet, it makes it harder because you're increasing the lever. You're increasing the lever length. So that's probably a very basic explanation of how leverage works. But when you understand this, you can use calisthenics. I used it very, very well in those at-home workouts, and I achieved overload by each week. I would put my hands and feet in a certain position or use leverage because I've got a good understanding at least of how to use it for myself, for my own body. And I'd do that until I felt like I could do a couple more reps than what I was intending to do. And then I would make it a little bit harder by reducing the mechanical advantage from the leverage, and then repeat the process again. And by doing that, even without any weights, I was able to really nail get some amazing gains, build a lot of muscle, lose a lot of fat, and get in great shape. And then another way that we also use calisthenics to achieve overload is by manipulating tempo and volume. So basically just increasing the amount of reps. So for those of you doing the at-home workouts with me, you would have noticed there were some exercises where every week we did a couple of extra reps. That was usually the lower body ones. If you remember, I remember with those hip thrusts when we started, I was doing like sets of 10 reps, 10 to 12. And by the time we got to week 3 in peak week, I was doing sets of 16. So that's another way to use overload. And then I was also manipulating tempo by doing slow eccentrics and even pause reps sometimes.
Yeah, and the way that the sessions where you generally had, it was pretty non-stop. So like the rest period changed compared to maybe a gym workout, like that was shortened as well, which just is another way of building that kind of overload into the
exactly.
Well.
And there's so many things that we put together that I guess if you didn't understand these principles, you wouldn't really know like the genius of what we were doing there to keep the workout to within 1 hour. But as the volume increases, the reps increases, the rest also decreases, and they're both different variables that can be manipulated differently to achieve overload and to get more volume and things like that. Yeah, it was very cool. And it
I definitely found that it was like when you do like those high volume squats, and then it would just come around so quickly, and you'd be like, really?
Oh my god, it was brutal, man. Oh, those leg days. Every time Tuesday came around, everyone was like going, "Oh my god." Yeah. For me, I don't know if you guys remember when you were watching the live show, but every time we finished that Tuesday workout, the second I did that last rep in the circuit, I was like, "Yes, it's over for another week." Yeah, it was really good. And this is something that I want to circle back to the start, what we said at the start of this episode, which is the theme for this week, which is, don't go for the flashy, shiny next workout that you've never done. It is not necessarily the best option. Understanding the principles of a structured program, like what we do in the UMS at-home workouts, where, we've really thought about when you do upper body on Monday, and then you do upper body again on Thursday. So you're getting those 72 hours rest. Same with lower body on Tuesday and Friday, then straight arm strength on Wednesday. And then if you want to repeat, if you're a high achiever and you want to do that sixth workout in the week, where you do it again on Saturday. Like there's a really good thought process behind that.
Don't go for the random workout generator.
Yeah, because it just finds you doing the same thing. Like I've seen these random workout generators, and I've seen these workouts where people are doing, just like an example, like a burpee is a really favored at-home workout exercise because it's so good, and it's something that we did for one of the phases in the at-home workouts. But I used it very specifically. It wasn't done in an upper body workout and then in a lower body workout.
And that's one of the things that kills me about like a lot of at-home workout challenges, where it's like, do 100 push-ups a day for a month or whatever. Like, it's just when you don't bring in principles of structural balance between push and pull, if you're overloading structures in, consecutively, like that's just exactly the poor load management that we talk about that, causes grief. So it's so important to take those fundamental principles of training and then apply it in our home setting. Yeah.
And you can do it. We did it really successfully, and you can too. So, look, if you start to understand these principles, Yanni said something here. Yanni's saying, in the body, levers can be used to exert a large force over a small distance at the opposing end of smaller exerted force over a greater distance at the other. In mechanics, a lever amplifies an input force to provide a greater output force, which is said to provide leverage. I think Yanni's got Google going for him here.
Which is why I think we need to talk about it because of all these people. So Diana's got a question here that we should get to before we finish up. So she's saying, I normally do a CrossFit class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm thinking to add in one upper body and one straight arm and one lower body workout on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Does that sound sensible? If I feel fit enough to do both a CrossFit WOD and a UMS workout on the same day, I'm wondering if there is a better order to do them in.
I would Okay, so there's a couple of considerations. The first thing that I'm going to say is, before I rag on CrossFit, the first thing that I'm going to say is, if it gets you moving, it's great.
Yeah.
If it gets you exercising, awesome. The next thing I'm going to say is that I've never yet seen a CrossFit program that I thought to myself was smart.
Yeah, I think that's generally the problem with CrossFit. It kind of sometimes ends up being a bit of a random workout generator, which keeps it fun and exciting, and I'm totally all for it if if you love it and you're working towards those things. But yeah, I used to do a lot of massages for people who competed at regionals and some in the games as well, and like their structured workouts would be very much around like that they'd remove like the CrossFit WOD and just do like blocks of how to progress Olympic lifting, how to like increase their cardiovascular fitness, and how to like they would structure it so they'd have sort of peaks in each of the different elements of a CrossFit workout, rather than just doing the workouts as training themselves. So is it a tricky one? And yeah, I guess Diana, if you've been listening to like us discussing why the UMS is a really effective way of doing it, is because it's got like structured rest periods and structured sort of downtime to get recovery and recover. You just got to remember that recovery is when you get your gains. Like
that's right.
You've got to give it a stimulus, and then you've got to give it adequate food, sleep, and time to actually get an adaptation.
Yeah, to build strength, to build muscle, to lose fat. And if you don't have that programmed recovery, that programmed rest period, not only will you not get even close to the same amount of gains, but you run a higher risk of injury.
Yeah, and then it becomes very hard to get that kind of load management we keep talking about for injury prevention, right? And so, I'd just be looking at what the CrossFit WOD involves, because often they end up being a bit more sort of full body workout rather than specific sort of, push pull, but like lower body, upper body kind of focus. So, what I would say as well is that now that we've given our little sort of disclaimer on the way that we think this would work together, is the first thing that I would say is make a decision as to which one you want to see the more significant gains in, and then the other one you always do it at a lower level. You know, so if you want to go to CrossFit and compete and be somebody that's really going for it, then when you do your UMS workouts, you're really not going to be striving for any massive amounts of like, you're not going to be lifting as much as you can and really pushing yourself. You're going to be doing it with consideration to what you did yesterday, or vice versa. Or you do your UMS workouts really going for it, but then when you go to CrossFit, you consider, what did I do yesterday? So what I mean by that is, so if you're going to be doing one straight arm, one upper body, straight arm, and lower body on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, which is a great way to use the UMS. That's a really intelligent way to do it. But let's say, you're going to do bent arm strength, upper body on Tuesday. But let's say on Monday, you did a CrossFit WOD that had a shoulder press in it. Well, then on Tuesday, if you're now doing a workout that has a shoulder press again, and I would do one of two things. I would either not do the shoulder press in that Tuesday workout, or do an alternate version, like maybe a dumbbell lateral raise, or do a severely reduced intensity for the shoulder press in that workout. And the same would be if you did a squat in the Wednesday WOD workout, then on Thursday when you're doing your lower body workout, we're going to really want to watch out with how much you try to squat. What do you think, Phil? Exactly. Like Yanni's kind of saying, telling us off for ragging on CrossFit and saying that Rad doesn't know much about CrossFit, but I think he means ragging there, not raging. But anyway,
he means ragging.
Like we're not CrossFit experts and haven't looked at it in a while, so maybe it has changed to program in a way that the WODs kind of makes sense throughout a week. And so if it does do that, then I'd probably recommend just sticking with their structure and doing that, but just taking the principles that of what we're trying to teach here and apply it to there. But if you start kind of trying to do both at once, if your training age is quite old, so you've been doing CrossFit for a long time, you know the kind of effect it has on your body, so like the levels of soreness, and like you've got really good resilience from injury because you've done great progressive overload and your body feels awesome. And that's even just doing a CrossFit WOD is sort of like your baseline and you feel totally fine, that then you could start adding in the UMS. I think go for it, but I just think there's going to be real challenges in trying to get both kind of getting through it without injuring yourself and causing like overload injuries, and also hard to get performance increases because you've got too many competing factors that there's an example I come back to with running quite a lot, where there's a great study looking at the difference in training intensity and time from a professional athlete, elite athlete, and novice runner. And basically the novice runners do a whole lot less time and they do a whole lot less intensity, but elite runners and professional runners do pretty much the same amount of training. Like, those A-type personalities that go out run, they run themselves into the ground, 5 days a week, which is, probably about the same as a professional runner. Except they just never hit the same intensity peak because they don't have the ability to get adequate recovery. They can't have the luxury of like a professional athlete to, eat good food, sleep 10 hours a day. Like, they have to go to work and have to do that. So if you're trying to fit too much in, you won't ever hit that same like peak intensity, which means you won't get that same like performance adaptation. So it's just really key to understand that like doing more is not always better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
And Yanni,
smart progression is.
Yanni's right. Yanni's saying here that I don't know much about CrossFit, and it's absolutely true. I've never done a CrossFit class in my life.
I've done some. They're really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're really entertaining and enjoyable. So.
I've done workouts that are similar to CrossFit. That was back when
rage classes used to be.
Yeah. But that's me creating something based on never having gone to a CrossFit and just looking. But it's very easy to go on the CrossFit website and look at the WODs. So I've done CrossFit WODs before. Yeah. So that's, take it with a grain of salt, what I've said. Yanni's saying UMS and CrossFit are two different methods of training. It's kind of like saying I want to do CrossFit 3 days and powerlifting 3 days. It will be hard to bring them together. That's exactly right. And that's what my point was. Where are we? Is it Diane? Diane. It is hard to bring them together without compromising the gains that you're going to have in either of them. But in all honesty, I would definitely be bringing some type of the methods that we use in the UMS into what you do, because one thing that I can say about anyone that I've met that does CrossFit is they don't do even close to the amount of flexibility and mobility training that we do in the UMS. I think in the very least that would be one thing.
But at the end of the day, if you're training at home, like if it's between staying like happy and doing what you love, then go for it. But just be aware that like the performance and the injury increase risk if you're not doing smart programming.
Yeah, for sure. Hope that helps. Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to progress in lockdown. So we're going to be talking about how to use program periodization, supercompensation, and progressive overload. So which is really critical to see progression. It's today we spoke about how you can use calisthenics and different ways to achieve overload, but we're going to be talking about how you can progress by using some more advanced programming principles. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and really thanks for the great input as well, everyone that's been chiming in here. If you're listening on the podcast, jump on over to Facebook and join our private Facebook group called UMS Movement Mastermind. That's where we record these podcasts live, and that's where we're answering all these people's questions here. And if you're watching on YouTube, do the same thing.
Good fix, Lee. I was wondering, 17 minutes of stretching, it's not enough. You have to do 18. She's just posted there.
Yeah.
If she should do it daily, and absolutely. If you it's a great one to do at a low level, just go through the motions, but make sure it's 18 minutes.
Look, anything's better than nothing, 100%. Honestly. If you start stretching, the most important thing with stretching, the most important thing to get your head around at the start is that consistency and frequency is the greatest ingredient. Yeah. So that's why the 18-minute stretching routine was created, because it's such a great way in a very short amount of time to hit the majority of the body and the majority of the movements that you need. So thanks, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Ciao.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, that's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.